All right, so the question is, when do you decide to do a renovation? Or when do you decide to start your yard over? Well, I am a 50-50 guy, meaning if I have 50% crap and 50% fescue, I'm probably going to start that yard over or recommend it. Now you can see right here, this particular yard, this is the first renovation of the year. We've got about 8 or 10 booked, and this one is 100% crap. So it's just really no guessing on this. It's basically all crabgrass. It's crap. She wants a nice yard. She saw one of the client's yards down the street, so we're going to give it to her and document the process in this renovation so you can check it out. But the first step is glyphosate, and we're running glyphosate at 5 quarts an acre. I went off the labeled rate for Bermuda grass because several of these yards we're going to spray today has a buttload of Bermuda in it. So 5 quarts an acre on the Roundup, and then 2 quarts per acre 2 quarts per acre on triclopyr. And I'll use that on the first spray. Now I'll spray these yards 3 times. The second and third spray won't have the triclopyr in it because it's just getting too close to seeding. Now I've spoke with this lady, and you can see where they put this border around simply because grass ain't gonna grow into that Bradford pear tree. It's just very hard. It's not gonna grow into this dogwood. You can see it's not, the weeds won't even grow under it. That's how hard it is to get stuff to grow. If you go back in here, shady, mossy, ooky, wrong side of the house, tree roots everywhere. So all this is going to get sprayed as well and get Roundup and killed. I'm going to spray all the weeds and stuff under here. But we're going to come in, or she's going to have someone do this, and we're going to connect about right here, and we're going to make a nice little smooth semicircle and connect it right there. And so this will be grass, all that'll be mulch going all the way around. And we'll do the same thing over here. You can almost see a line where the crabgrass stops, just because the shade gets too heavy and it just can't grow in here. Photosynthesis can't take place, so it can't grow. So we're going to come out here and we're going to attach this here, come on around about right in there, and all this will be mulch in natural area. Because me personally, I'd much rather look at mulch than this. You know what I mean? At some point, if you try and try over and over to get grass to grow in a spot up against a tree, wood line, and it just doesn't grow, I get tired of looking at this. You know, this isn't appealing. It ain't aesthetically pleasing to my eye. So I want something that looks good. So I've seen this a million times. It's just not going to work over here. So we're going to mulch it, and then she'll have the rest of all this will be grass or yard. So let's spray. So for the Roundup applications, I like spraying at 1.5 gallons per 1,000. If you notice, when I get over here to these plants, I'm going really slow, taking my time, because I do not want any Roundup on this lady's bushes. That wouldn't be good. Now, I like the 1.5 gallons because it's easily controlled. A lot of applications we do is 2.5 gallons, and that's a lot of product coming out. I mean, a lot of carrier coming out, and the lower volume is just a little easier for me to control where I want the stuff to go. All right, now look at here. I can't spray there. See that crabgrass up under there? We'll have to deal with that a little later. So you're gonna have to cut that back so I can spray it. Same thing over here. All right, and then there's our line. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk on the outside of the line and spray back toward the inside. That way I give her a real nice, clean, definitive line over here. I'm not gonna get up under that tree because I don't want this stuff getting in those roots. Which Roundup actually stays in the plant for the most part. It doesn't do a whole lot of getting in the ground from what I understand. So, especially with this being a foliar application, it should be all right. All right, spraying is done. Look at that Dallas grass in there. See you later, Dallas grass. You see how good and shiny this is. There. Good coverage. So what'll happen is this will brown off in 2, maybe 3 weeks. Stays hot, it'll be about 2 weeks. And I'll have the, whoever the guy mows this, I'll have him come in here and bag it. Important, bag it, catch the clippings. Because if you can look at see that seed head right there? Look at there. That's a crabgrass seed head. I don't want that back in the yard once I spray it. Look at the Dallas grass seed heads. Look at those monsters, man. I don't want that back in the yard. So I'm gonna give him to bag it, cut it down to about 2.5 inches, 2 inches. And once he does that, you will see some green. There'll be green up under this because this spray gun can't penetrate all the way to the ground. It's a foliar application, meaning it gets on the foliage. So he'll cut it down. As soon as he cuts it down, I'll come right back and I'll do this again. And then we'll do that process a 3rd time. And the 3rd time, he will scalp it. The 2nd time he mows it, he will scalp it down to the ground, like leave me a 1/2 inch. And that will show some runners of Bermuda that are running along the bottom, and that way I can spray again and we'll get that. That way we'll get a good clean yard. So three glyphosate applications, and in between the apps we'll start mowing it down real close, and that'll help me out too, because when we show up to do the seed, when we show up to do the seed, I'll be working with almost dirt. I won't have any of this foliage in here to bother me, so I won't have to do extra work. So we'll let him do the mowing and get rid of that. So all right, later. All right, so here's another example of what we would consider a renovation. Guy just bought this house, brought in some dirt and stuff. Kind of wish we would have got to it to spray it before he brought in the dirt. You see there's a little bit of crap still left around here. Some goose grass, lespedeza, broom straw, dandelions, plantain, little Dallas grass here and there, some crabgrass coming in. And, you know, most people would look at this and say, oh, it's okay, just gonna seed it. Well, you got to remember that grass seed's got to compete with all this other stuff to come in. You can look at a yard as basically being a competition. Look at this grass. See, there's a piece of Dallas grass. Now, if you would have just seeded this, you'd have been fighting that mess for a while. Well, forever, until you kill it. So, gonna be tough right there up under these big oaks. Look at that thing, man. Big old pretty North Carolina oak tree. Gonna be hard to grow grass under it though. Pin oaks, hard to grow grass under. There's some more big oaks. But I think we're gonna get with this guy and he's gonna put him some big, nice, big, pretty mulch beds around those trees. But here's just another good example. You see how uneven, ruts everywhere. He's gonna bring in a lot of dirt and rototill this and slick it all down. But even though he rototills it and tills it up, this gets pushed down in the dirt and it will come back. It's already gonna be hard enough to control the weeds once we get his fescue going, but it makes it double hard if you don't kill off this stuff first. A lot of dirt needed right here. Look there. Hard to grow grass right there. We're gonna make it happen. All right, got that one sprayed. You can check it out. And it's better to kill off all this stuff and start from scratch with bare dirt. That way you don't have to fight this in the future. Fight the weeds in the future. Or fight as many weeds in the future. Weeds are still gonna come up. All right, so here's another good example of why to do a renovation. And I know my buddy Matt Martin would have a cow on this. Look at how thick and how dense and plush that Bermuda is. I mean, it is just thick as hair on a dog's back. Well, the guy don't want it. So we're gonna smoke it off and try to get him something going again in the way of fescue. You can see where I've marked out where he should put irrigation heads. The only thing that concerns me on this is there was a big low spot here and he did fill this in before he made his mind up to renovate. So the big question is, and you already know the answer before I even tell you, yes, that Bermuda is going to make its way back up through this dirt at some point. So we'll just have to deal with that later, but you can already see it starting to come back through these areas out here in the middle. I'm hoping, this is crazy, but I'm actually going to come out with some 4600 urea and I'm going to put it just on these dirt areas. And I'm going to ask him to water. The reason for that is, remember, I'm going to spray 3 times out here. So I want I want to push that Bermuda and feed it and see if it will pop its head up through this dirt so that I can get at least 1 or 2 of the Roundup apps on it, and maybe that'll help. So had a yeah, Matt, you'd like this, man. This is some, I mean, dense, thick, lush Bermuda. Especially over here in this section. It wouldn't take much at all to get it out there, but he wants fescue. So real important on this, when the Bermuda's this thick, it becomes extra important. We'll spray it 2 to 3 weeks. He'll come in and mow it, because look down in here, look at all the Bermuda deep down in that canopy, and it's even some green. Where's my hand? It's even some green down in there. So we need to cut off the brown, spray it again, let it brown out, kill out again, and then he's gonna skin it down to the ground, scalp it down to the ground for me. That way, because you can see how this stuff, see how it runs along the ground like that? And we want the Roundup to even get on that area. Because if you don't, I mean, you know, it's already going to be incredibly difficult to keep this Bermuda controlled even after the fescue comes up good and thick. But we want to give it 100% chance of us doing that. So we want to make sure we get a great kill off with the Roundup. All right, here's another example. Renovation. And I would chalk this one up to just pure bad luck. To my knowledge, this yard was sown right about the same time as this yard. So, you know, I don't know if the water wasn't ran, I wasn't here, didn't do the work, so I don't know. Not sure if the water was not run correctly or gully washers, which that brings a good point. Look at this slope, this grade goes all the way to the top of the hill. So this guy's gonna catch everybody's irrigation. He's gonna catch everybody's rainfall. And if we slip right across the road for a second, look at this, is a nice, well-established yard. But look at that mud pit going down the center. It's just, you know, it's the lay of the land. It's a bad luck situation, so it's just going to make it even a little bit more difficult to get things right. But I'm about as persistent as they come. So, well, there's not much here, so why spray it and kill it? Well, there is something here. It's not completely dirt, so I'm not starting over. So I do have to get rid of what's here. Little maple tree saplings. You see this thing occasionally around this area. I have no clue what it is. I think that's goosegrass. Got several different forms and varieties of crabgrass, both large and smooth. Lots of lespedeza, especially around the back. This looks like Bermuda, but it's not. I don't know what it's called, but it's dead now. Good as dead. Clover. Here's your some lespedeza right here, or some form of lespedeza right there. So you have to smoke this off. You have to kill it. Brings up a good point. Perennial and annual weeds. Perennial meaning they come up from, say, a tuber, rhizome, stolon. The frost hits it. That plant goes down into the ground. It lives there over winter. No different than hosta, daylilies, you know, other perennial type. That's the only two that's coming to mind. Hosta and daylily. It's no different than that. Frost hits it. They go in the ground and they stay there dormant over winter. Then when springtime warmer temperatures come back, they blossom out. No different than Bermuda grass. Dallas grass is a perennial weed, comes back year after year. And it also has a second mechanism, which is a seed, which makes it double trouble. So anyway, that is why I'm spraying this one. We want to actually break the cycle of that perennial weed. Now you can see next door, I don't know what these guys do to this yard, but you can see a lot of breakthrough on crabgrass. So if they're not managing it in the same way this man is managing it on the edges, yeah, you might get some breakthrough from time to time, but we're getting rid of all of this, and for the most part we should be able to keep this weed free. Ooh, I just saw that. Look at there, Bermuda grass. One little small chunk of it. I think it's the only piece in the whole yard, which is a blessing right there. This yard does have irrigation. It was installed when the house was built, and like I said, I don't know if it was just not ran or what. There's a valve box. I know the heads are 30 foot apart. I've already walked them off. There's your head right there, and 30 is a little far, so I'm expecting poor water coverage on this. Won't know until we get the thing fired up and going. But oh, look at here. Hunter I-20. Well, he's got a good head. That's what I got in my yard. Nice. Well, here's another example of a renovation. I bet you're looking at this and saying, what the heck, man? There's nothing wrong with that turf. Well, let's ease up a little bit. Look at all this wild violet. Wild violet, very difficult to control weed. Usually takes triclopyr, a couple of applications. And this yard isn't terrible, but this yard boils down to it's what she wants, and she wants to spend the money. So I'm good with that. But look at this. There used to be a tree right here somewhere, and around that tree they had liripe planted. And here's the remainder of the liripe. You can see the dark spots right there, there. I'm a little worried about this, just to be completely honest with you, because liripe is incredibly difficult to control. I don't even know. We may even have to end up digging this out with a machine and replacing it with dirt. As you can see, they got little spots of it everywhere. Another thing is this lady wants to extend the yard to all of this ground cover. We're gonna spray all this and bring the grass up to here so that it matches the other side of the yard. You can see the difference, see how far up this comes, and we're gonna bring it to where she gets an even front yard or symmetrical front yard. So even though it's a lot of good grass in here, it's also a lot of crap in here. This yard's irrigated, has excellent coverage, so it'd be snap to get the grass to come up. It's just we just have to get rid of the crap first. All right, so here's another good example, and you can see some fescue in here. Stress, heat stress, not brown patch. That's heat stress. This yard's on a fungicide program, and so this brown you're seeing here is stressed out. It's just it's cooked by the sun. It's on a little slope going down. This gentleman despises Bermuda grass. See it mixed down in there? Now, Pilex, yes, this would be a good option for Pilex because it's mingled in, but if you go over here just a little ways, now look at how thick the Bermuda gets. And the further up the hill you get, it's just nothing but Bermuda. So he wants a consistent yard. He doesn't want the brown, the half brown, half green yard all winter. So that's why we're actually going with Roundup. It's such a small yard, just from a cost standpoint, it's just more cost effective just to kill it off and with Roundup and start it over. All right, so here's the backyard, same thing. Boy, look at the stress on that fescue. Look at it. Look at the leaves. All right, here's a hint. When you start seeing the trees go in defense mode, be quiet. Hush. 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 Thank you. When you start seeing trees go in defense mode, look at the leaves falling. The tree is protecting itself. It's stressed out, so it's protecting. It's losing leaves. And look at that. That tells you it's dry and it's hot. So you can see the Bermuda. It stops about right there, and it's almost a line of it, and it's slowly invading that way. Well, when I started this yard, it was one patch of it right here. This was about 6 or 7 years ago, and look at how much it spread all the way over and all the way back. It literally was a patch about that big, and it was ignored. I told him, we'd mentioned this many times and that he's going to get it while it was little, but now it's to the point to where he just said, the heck with it, kill it, let's start over. So I'm not going to do anything from there over, because there's nothing wrong with that turf. It's great turf. It's about from here this way. So let's get to spraying. All right, so here's another good example, and this, you can kind of see a trend going here. He's got Bermuda kicking in, and this is a brand new yard of ours. We've yet to do anything to this turf, so he's gonna be a new customer. And again, he don't want the Bermuda grass, so that's why we're gonna smoke it off and get rid of it. Look at that stuff, man.